I want to tell you something today that maybe you didn't know about God. It's a strange verse, maybe even would be considered a little bit obscure, that I want to read to you. It's not one that I've heard quoted a whole lot, but it's been one that has been really helpful to me in discerning, especially in moments where God seems to be silent. It's been especially helpful to me in understanding the big picture. So here's the verse. Here's what I want to share with you. Isaiah 45, verses 15 and 16. And this is what it says. Isaiah is making this observation about God. This is a big exclamatory statement because it's shocking to him. But he says, "Truly, you are a God who hides himself, O God and of Israel, Savior." I'll read that again. "Truly, you are a God who hides himself, O God of Israel, Savior." And then listen to the next verse, 16. "They will be put to shame and even humiliated, all of them. The manufacturers of idols will go away together in humiliation." So he has this revelation. God, I thought you weren't doing anything at all. I thought nothing was happening. I was praying and getting no answers. I was asking you to move heaven and earth and nothing moved, seemingly not a grain of sand. Maybe things looked like they were going in the wrong direction. But God has this veil. There's this veil over all of eternity, and he's behind that veil. And what he's doing behind that veil is he's working. Jesus on the Sabbath was working, and the Pharisees, he was healing people. And the Pharisees got angry and said, you can't do that on the Sabbath. And he said, my Father is working, and I'm working also. God is always working. He's always up to something. He's always executing his plan. But he does it in secret. He hides himself. So God, this is what I want you to know about God. God right now is hiding his works from you. He's not letting you see what he's up to. But verse 16 is the verse that gives us hope. They will be put to shame, even humiliated, all of them. The manufacturers of idols, all of those who are going against God and against his will and doing evil, they will go away together in humiliation. In other words, one of these days, God's going to yank back the curtain and he's going to say, okay, it's done. And here will be this master work that only God could have done and only he could have the glory for. And he didn't want anybody to see. He's playing his cards really close. That's one way you could say it. Because he didn't want anybody to know the hand that he was going to present that was going to take the whole thing. But that's what your God is like. So I want you to tell you this. God is under no obligation to tell you play by play what he's doing. But you and I do have an obligation. And that obligation is to abide in faith, to continue in prayer, to trust him and not to give up. If he's given you darkness, trust him in the darkness. If he's given you silence, hold on to him in the silence. Because God is working. He's hidden himself. And the fact that he's hidden himself is actually proof that he's working. It's like a master craftsman. He goes away into his workshop and he wants to be left alone. Don't knock at the door because I'm doing something and I'm so focused and it's so intense that I don't want to be distracted from it because it's got to be perfect. You and I are under obligation before God in that kind of environment to keep on seeking him, keep on asking, keep on knocking, to pray and to not be faint. And this is what Jesus said, Matthew 7:8. For everyone who asks receives. In other words, the day will come. Ask and keep on asking. He who seeks finds, seek and keep on seeking. And to him who knocks, eventually it will be opened. So take that as a word of encouragement. Let it sink into your heart and understand that the silence of God means he's busy and he's working. Wait for the answer and wait in faith.